Ho Chi Minh is the former Saigon. Here, surrounded by upscale neighborhoods, lie the slums. People live in tiny homes. Some even build their dwellings on foul-smelling rivers. Ho Chi Minh City is relatively young. It used to be called Prenacor and belonged to Cambodia. That was until the Vietnamese conquered the area in the late 17th century. Today, Ho Chi Minh City is known as Vietnam's economic capital, but the business district can wait. Right now, the most important thing, setting the price of beer, 20, 30, or 35,000 dong. Because nothing is more important than cheap booze. Everyone's drawn in by cheap drinks. Cheap booze. We're stepping out into some quiet now. Igor says it's a strange spot. We wandered into the first alley we could find, where it's quiet enough to hear each other and record some sound. On the main street, bars line both sides, each blaring music at full volume. You can't hear a thing, and I don't understand how people sit there. It's a nightmare. Yet just 10 meters away, you're in a regular residential area. You've got grandmothers, kids, dogs here, and still, even here, I just don't get how people live or sleep in these conditions. It's unbelievable. There's an insect crawling. People laugh and smile, not realizing why I'm so surprised. Let's move a bit farther, somewhere quieter. I'll tell you about this street. It's just regular apartments. Hello. People live here. They have homes here. They watch TV and someone's parked their motorbikes. Finally, it's quiet. We're 30 meters away from the chaos. But back there, the music is deafening. Bass thumping, lights flashing, people dancing. Maybe it's because I'm 40. I physically can't handle it. Yet people sit there, drinking. Interestingly, in Thailand, promoters lure tourists with flashy shows. Mice paint, Mickey Mouse, cacti, candles, all that stuff. Come in, we'll show you, they say. In Vietnam, they lure you with cheap booze. It's bizarre. Bars everywhere. Girls and guys dance in various stages of undress. Something you don't see in Thailand. There, guys don't dance on the streets, and the noise. All of this in a residential area. How do people live here? Actually, Boi Vien Street is a typical pedestrian zone. Always noisy, crowded, full of bars and nightclubs. But that's not what makes it unusual. Here, outside every venue, a half-naked girl or guy waits for you, with clear intentions. Boi Vien Street is known as the street of debauchery. Sex workers here are bold. Grabbing potential clients and pulling them inside is normal, not indecent. Technically, prostitution is illegal in Vietnam, but it's treated as an administrative offense, not a crime. So prostitutes don't go to jail, they're detained and fined. That is, unless it involves serious crimes, like pimp or forced sex work, which can land you in prison. But it wasn't always like this. From the late 19th to mid-20th century, Vietnam was a French colony. Back then, sex work was legal. Prostitution was seen as natural and essential for satisfying European men. The industry was strictly regulated. Prostitutes had to register and undergo medical checks. Once licensed, they couldn't just quit. Only a husband or father could cancel that license. A unique form of French patriarchy. During the Vietnam War, sex work became illegal, but it didn't disappear. Vietnamese and American officials looked the other way, even encouraged it. You'd see why the American soldiers did, but the local officials thought that if American soldiers need women, and they need dollars, why stop it? By the end of the war, Vietnam had 300 to 500,000 sex workers. After the war, the communists cracked down on prostitution and nearly eradicated it. By the mid-1980s, the sex industry re-emerged. Vietnam's economy was changing. The government welcomed foreign investors and visitors. Business needed a boost, and sex workers filled that role. Today, estimates suggest there are between 100 and 200,000 people in Vietnam's industry. Well, let's head back out of this quiet alley. Back to the noisy street. I won't be able to say much there. My voice will just get drowned out by the music. At least we can take a look at what it's like. Let's go back. We're walking through a regular residential area to get there. Notice again, these are just people's homes. People are resting, sleeping, resting, and watching TV. Motorbikes parked outside. Ordinary apartment buildings. And yet, just ahead, the deafening noise begins. Now we're stepping out of this quiet alley onto the street of debauchery. People are just sitting around, drinking cheap beer, watching the women, and if they want, doing more than just watching. As I mentioned, prostitution is illegal here. That's why Vietnam has so many erect salons, disguised as hair salons or massage parlors. They say there are over 100 in Ho Chi Minh City alone, offering services for all tastes and budgets.
Hello.
Customers are welcomed in for a foot massage and more. There are no clients yet. This is what they call a Hollywood massage, or a happy ending massage. It's definitely here in some form. But as soon as they see the camera, they scatter. In fact, having a camera is the best way to avoid being touched. If you're walking without one, they'll approach you and start to pester you aggressively. But with a camera, they shy away and disappear. No camera. Yeah. That's the trick to keeping the street masseuses offering happy endings off your back. Just carry a camera, and then they'll leave you alone. You can stroll home quietly, chastely, without giving in to the big city's temptations. Now let's explore another area. I'm going to show you a place where people live below the poverty line. I decided to visit one of these neighborhoods. It's not far from here.
Let's call the Malang area, which means an area of the graves. So now we are trying to find a way to get inside. So the area is like a rectangular. It's bordered by 4 different streets, and it's inside. Before we had different entrances. We can come in any alleyway. Now some of the alley was blocked. So far I could find only 2 entrances that you can come inside.
Okay.
And we are going in some of them to see the slum area or the poorest area in this very expensive district. It's not safe.
Really? I think, yeah,
You have to be adventurous.
everywhere should be safe, no?
Not really. If you get to
What
the wrong
can
place. Some guy can just go and snatch your camera
Really? Yeah. No.
or your phone like you are holding them right now.
Finally, we've made it into Malang.
All these houses, are they legal or not?
It's still legal. If they have been here for long, it should be legal. But remember that all the property in these countries are leasehold property. which means you own the lease, you don't own the land.
You can't buy land.
When you buy the lease. Like the lease
how
say
many
that
years?
50 years.
50 years. Okay.
Malang slum sits right in the heart of Ho Chi Minh City, just a minute away from the tourist district, full of cafes and attractions. Yet here, in a 7-hectare area, live about 1,500 impoverished people. Their shacks are mostly makeshift. Each house, if you can call it that, is about 5 square meters. There are roughly 500 such homes here. This slum used to be a cemetery, but in the early 1980s, rural villagers began migrating to Ho Chi Minh City. Life outside the cities was unbearable. They settled here. In the 1990s, these alleys became a hub for drug dealing. The authorities didn't like having a crime-ridden area in the city center, so they blocked off exits leading to the tourist streets. They posted police officers nearby, but this didn't really solve the safety issues. For instance, if a fire breaks out here, residents can only evacuate through a few narrow alleys. It's a huge problem. For over 20 years, authorities have talked about modernizing Malang. The plan is to demolish the slums and build a luxury complex with hotels and offices. But that means the locals will have to move somewhere else. But when this will happen, or if it will ever happen, no one knows. Let's take a walk and see how poor people live in the heart of Ho Chi Minh City. With so many people crammed into small spaces, life here is always bustling.
They are praying for the dead person who just passed away. See, so
It's a kind of temple or it's somebody's house?
it's someone's house. You can see the address.
Here's the address. Why are you reading these Buddhist sutras? In Buddhism, when someone dies, it's customary to recite sutras for 7 days. It's a way of praying for their soul. Let's keep walking and meet some locals.
You live here. Can you tell me about your family? How many of you live here? And what do you do for living?
Right now, my father-in-law, mother-in-law, my 3 children, and I live here. 6 people. My husband was disabled. He used to live here and repair electronics. My aunt's husband served in the South Vietnamese army. Now both his legs are amputated. He uses his wheelchair to sell lottery tickets. Do you work? Not yet. My husband died recently. I'll start working 49 days after his death. What did you do before? I worked in a tech park, but I quit. Now I'm waiting for my son to return from the army. After that, he'll work. In the meantime, I take care of my children and work as a part-time cleaner.
How much you get for 1 hour?
Only 70,000 dong per hour. Let's see if we can visit someone's home. Hello. My friend here is a foreigner. He's never seen such small houses. Can we take a look? Sure, come on in. Hello. This here is the toilet. This small space is the kitchen and food storage. There's a tiny gas stove and a pressure cooker. Another stove below with a gas canister. All the food is stored in these jars. This is the living room, if you can call it that. It's tiny, maybe 3 square meters, or 4 at most. People sit here, glued to their phones, watching shows. Upstairs, there's a small sleeping area where 3 people sleep. The place is so small, you can barely step inside to film. Basically, it's 2 square meters for the kitchen, 4 square meters for the living room, and a small toilet. A family of 3 lives here. But houses in the Malang slum vary a lot.
This house is very big.
Yeah, a big house.
Rich family.
Yeah, next to a poor one. That's why I'm saying it used to be like a small area where all the people was poor. But now you have some big guy and then you have small one. Like this one, definitely very old. The door, they have a very tiny window there.
I think
See?
it's a shower.
Yeah, if it's
Not
a
a
shower,
toilet,
so
it's a shower.
if it's a shower, so the water is bringing up from here,
Yeah.
go up there. So it means it's a toilet over there,
Yeah.
or bathroom, or it's maybe no, it look more.
Basically, the sewage system is medieval. Waste flows straight into the street. Locals earn money in different ways. Some collect recyclables like paper.
They collect paper and, and
1 kilo,
then
1 kilo of this paper, they can make like 5,000
5,000.
for 1 kilo of this paper. They can resell it to the recycle agent, and the recycle agent will resell them to the factory or somewhere. So it depends. Like this plastic, you make, I think now it should be 8,000 for 1 kilo. The paper is about 5,000, and then you also have the can. They should have some can as well, the Coke can or the beer can.
Others work tirelessly as cleaners in wealthier neighborhoods. How much do you make monthly? Around $5 to $6 million. Would you move out if given the chance? Yes, if the price is fair. The new place has to be better than this, or at least not worse. Only workers live here. If the conditions improve, people will move. If the compensation is fair and the needs of the poor are considered, they'll relocate. It's a kind of semi-communism. In theory, the state could provide new housing, but for some reason it doesn't. Interestingly, there's no party propaganda in these homes. No portraits of leaders, no slogans, no propaganda. Hi, how are you? Hi. Good. Goodbye. Instead, you see a lot of religious symbols, which is unusual for a supposedly communist country. In schools, they study Marxism, Leninism, and take exams on it. But in their homes, it's all Buddha, family altars, and portraits of relatives. Here's another house. More family portraits. A girl is sewing something, and of course an altar. And no sign of Marx or Engels. Seems like people don't hold the party in high regard. Another home, a mom cooking, kids watching cartoons, and again, an altar with family photos. Hello. No, we're not going inside. How's it going? Wow, that's a lie-down barbershop. They wash your hair while you lie down. You have a very beautiful house. There's some equipment in there too. He has a decent house. An amplifier and speakers. They've even hung 2 speakers up high. Not bad. Yeah, quite good. Hello. Okay. No? Yeah, these houses are really small. Oh, look, here's something interesting. Someone's peeling onions, someone else is playing a game. Walking through these slum alleys, it's fascinating to peek into homes. Each one is more interesting than the last. Some homes are minimalist, with expensive tech, maybe a high-end speaker system, a fancy massage chair, or a big TV. Others are decorated with lights, altars, and religious symbols. In some, you'll find workshops, people sewing, cooking, or working. Each tiny house is like a jewel box, with its own little world inside. They're all incredibly small, though. It's hard to imagine how people live here. It's the middle of the day, the heat is intense, and most residents are lying on the tiled floor, under a fan, trying to survive the heat. Of course, there's no air conditioning here. Here's another little house. Everything is so interesting. And here's the next one. There's an altar, a small table, and someone lying down. It's incredible. Hello. Hello. Can we look at your house? Sure, come in. A guy is lying in a hammock watching TV. He wants to see your house because it looks very small. Yeah, it's small, but beautiful, right? Yes, that's why we'd love to take a look. They turned on the light to make it clearer. Many people don't allow visitors, so we always ask for permission. It's hard to get out. You have to go around to the other side. The guys love exploring here. Everything looks so unusual. Here's another tiny home. It's barely the width of a doorway, maybe 1.5 meters wide. At the end is a toilet, and upstairs, there's likely a bedroom. Can we see it? Yeah, sure. There's a washing machine, the toilet at the end, and a bedroom upstairs. The dog is fierce. We continue wandering through the slums. Such an incredible place. What are they saying here?
Okay, trafficking, selling, transporting or storing or delivery the illegal imported cigarette.
Ah, got it. Smuggled cigarettes. You can be fined 3 million dong for selling them.
Even just one bag can lead to a fine of 3 million Vietnam dong. Repeated crime can bring you to jail.
Walking through these slums is so fascinating. I've probably scared everyone away with my loud talking, but each little home is its own unique world. People decorate them, adding altars and personal touches. At every turn, there's a surprise or a little wonder. Amazing. Interestingly, there's no communist propaganda inside the slums. Oops, I just said that while standing next to a hammer and sickle flag. That's probably an administration office. They've hung a communist flag. But inside people's homes, there's no propaganda, no posters, no portraits, nothing. What's this? It's a community office. So it's a local community office. You can tell people don't really respect it. There's a bike parked on the bench where grandmothers should be gossiping. The entrance is cluttered and neglected. It looks abandoned. Talking about religious symbols, one woman has a huge crucifix hanging inside. The people here are deeply religious. Every home has either a Buddhist altar or a Catholic altar. So far, I haven't seen a single house without some religious item. But there's no communist imagery, except for that one flag outside the municipal office. Here's another home, a large Buddhist altar, with figurines, candles, and lights. The decorations are so intricate. Below, there's a washing machine, and upstairs, you can see a bed behind curtains. It's a tiny house, but judging by the shoes, probably 5 people live here. Right next to the Ma Long slums, skyscrapers are going up for the Vietnamese elite. Ho Chi Minh City is the largest city in Vietnam. With over 9.5 million residents, it's also known as the economic capital of the country. Home to over 200,000 businesses, the city is growing fast. In 2023, its economy grew by 3%, comparable to Hong Kong. By 2030, the city plans to become a financial hub for all of Southeast Asia. Recently, authorities launched a project to turn Ho Chi Minh City into a smart city, with digital platforms, databases, and maps available to the entire population. It'll be interesting to see how that turns out. But for now, investors are flooding in, building new suburbs and skyscrapers. Right now, I'm at the tallest building in Vietnam, Landmark 81. It has exactly 81 floors and stands at just over 461 meters tall. That's the height of 5 Statues of Liberty stacked together. The skyscraper opened in 2018. Inside, you'll find everything: a hotel, apartments, offices, a shopping mall, and even an ice skating rink. The top floors have an observation deck, the perfect way to see Ho Chi Minh City from above. Let's go down to street level and see how the wealthy live here. This is how rich Vietnamese live, surrounded by towering high-rises and shopping complexes. This is considered one of the best neighborhoods in the city. Some people live in the high-rises while others live in nearby villas. What surprises me most is the basic architecture. These high-rises look like the kind of social housing you'd find on the outskirts of Chinese cities. Plain, repetitive buildings, but here they've built them in one of the city's most upscale districts. Here's a crosswalk in this fancy neighborhood. Let's see if anyone stops for me. Well, sort of. They hesitate, but mostly they don't stop. These aren't really courtyards. They're more like public spaces between the buildings. It's interesting because, on one hand, they've tried to create a pleasant environment. There are tiger sculptures, pools, and some greenery. There's even a fountain. Hopefully it doesn't turn on right now. And look, there's a pool where people are swimming. On the other hand, these high-rises are packed incredibly close together, despite all the empty land around. They could have built something with more interesting architecture, or spaced the buildings out more. Another odd thing, their courtyards aren't fenced off. Here's the office, where you can buy yourself a flat. Here's the pool entrance. You can just enter it, even though it's probably meant to be for the residents. Excuse me, do you speak English? Yes? Is this pool only for residents, or can anyone use it? It's for residents only. For residents only, got it. So the pool is for residents, with a turnstile and a security guard. But the surrounding area is open to the public. You can walk around and watch people swimming. Here's another pool, also for residents, but it's closed right now. And here's yet another pool. It's strange how open everything is. In most new upscale neighborhoods, these areas are usually closed off and secured. But here, it's all open. You can walk around freely. The only restricted access is to the pools, controlled by QR codes or fingerprint scans. Other than that, you can go wherever you want. It's all a bit strange. We've seen the local slums and the luxury districts, but in Ho Chi Minh City, not everyone lives in or near skyscrapers. There are also entire neighborhoods built on water. The Mekong River, the largest river in the Indochina Peninsula, flows through Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh City lies near the Mekong Delta, a vast network of canals in the southwest of the country. The Saigon River runs through the city itself. Rivers are usually a great asset for cities. They provide scenic landscapes, promenades, and tourist activities. Everyone loves being near the water, but only if the river is reasonably clean. In Asia, that's often not the case. For example, in Ho Chi Minh City, 900,000 tons of sewage are dumped into the river every day. That's the volume of Lake Ontario. Only 10% of that water is treated before entering the river. People live right along these polluted canals. I visited one of these communities, located on the Suan Tem Canal. This canal is about 6 kilometers long and is considered the most polluted in Ho Chi Minh City. There's so much trash that sometimes you can't even see the water, yet people still live along these banks. The garbage and smell attract rats and insects, which carry disease. It's dangerous. But residents still use the river water for daily tasks. They wash vegetables and do laundry in it. Just like in Malang, the authorities have been promising to reconstruct these areas for the past 20 years, but they face huge costs. Even the initial cleanup expenses exceed the budget several times over. So it's unlikely anything will change here soon. They say things were even worse a few years ago. Though when you look at it now, it's hard to imagine how it could have been worse. There are just mountains of garbage piled piled up near these houses. The water smells foul and it's hard to describe. Yet locals say the neighborhood is improving and things are getting better. Maybe one day it will be truly nice, but for now, it's just the beginning of the end. What a sight. The whole river is polluted. Interestingly, despite the garbage, there's a lot of fish swimming in the water. They probably feed off the trash. It is a bizarre scene. But Ho Chi Minh City isn't just about trash stories. There's a rich colonial heritage here too. It's time to talk about Vietnam's past. Ho Chi Minh City is also a historical city. It was once called Saigon and served as the capital of French Indochina, the name of the French colony. The French captured Saigon in 1859 and finally left nearly 100 years later in 1954. That's when Vietnam split into two independent states, the Democratic Republic of Vietnam, with Hanoi as its capital in the north, and the State of Vietnam with Saigon as its capital in the south. The French ruled the city for a century and drastically changed its appearance. You can still see their influence today. Ho Chi Minh City is divided into 16 districts. Most of the historic buildings are in District 1, right in the city center. That's where I am now. Behind me is the central post office of Ho Chi Minh City. It was designed in the late 19th century by the French architect Marie-Alfred Fallou. He was the chief architect of Saigon. The post office is built in a European colonial style, with elements of Gothic and Renaissance. The roof decorations draw from Khmer architecture, a nod to the time when Saigon belonged to Cambodia. It belonged to Khmers, native to Southeast Asia. In 1698, Vietnamese captured the city and took it over. The building is still in use today. You can send a postcard or a letter from here even now. Let's go inside and see what this historic post office looks like. The old post office has been turned into a market. There are still old booths which used to be telephone booths. Now the phones are gone. You used to order a call. Operator, can you connect me for 3 minutes? Do you want to extend the call? This place feels like stepping back in time. Such is a historical post office. There's a portrait of Ho Chi Minh and souvenir shops. The Vietnamese post office still operates here. People are picking up packages. Love it. Ho Chi Minh City takes care of its historical heritage. A fascinating example is the restoration of the local Notre Dame Cathedral. In the city center, there's an old French cathedral under renovation. They covered it with scaffolding, and to keep things looking nice, they decorated the scaffolding with plants. They strung up special ropes and hung potted plants that are slowly climbing the scaffolding. In a year or so, it might look like a jungle cathedral. It'll be beautiful from the outside, a green cathedral. Plus, the plants will provide shade and a bit of coolness for the workers. It's an interesting solution. I've never seen anything like it. Now let's keep going. Ho Chi Minh City looks completely different at night. Igor, do you have some coins? We need to play this. How much? 30. I don't even know the rules. Instead of darts, there are these nails with feathers. I didn't get the rules. Throw harder. I can't, my hand hurts. Wow. They fly in unpredictable directions. Wow, a carrot. I want a carrot. Amazing. I didn't expect that. I want a carrot. There are bunnies on scooters. What's going on? The sheer number of motorcycles here is incredible. Look at these guys. They're actually riding on the sidewalks to bypass traffic. People are standing calmly, and these bikers just swerve around them. Unreal. Why does this happen? It's good that in some places there are street cafes on the sidewalks, blocking these motorcyclists. I gave the carrot to a kid. The kid's not wearing a helmet. It's all very strange. By law, everyone should wear helmets. And they do, except for the kids. Kids don't wear helmets. Little kids on motorcycles just wear caps. Apparently, helmets aren't required for children here. It's the first time I've seen this because usually kids have stricter safety rules than adults. But here, it's the opposite. Kids just aren't protected. This seems like some kind of recreational park. The smell here is like a forest. Yeah, I'm telling you, it feels like you finally come to a normal place. We're gradually diving into Ho Chi Minh's nightlife. What do we have here? First, some unusual children's activities. Kids are playing with a box on the sidewalk. Look, they love boxes, just like cats. It's adorable. A boy asks, "Why are you filming us? Haven't you ever seen kids sitting in boxes?" He's holding up 22. I have no idea why. Okay. Ah, he wants money. Got it. People are eating on the sidewalk here. There's someone watching sugarcane juice being made. Over there, another massage parlor, but a decent one. Just foot massages. More people eating. Scooters are parked everywhere, leaving no room on the sidewalk. Vietnamese cities come alive in the evenings. Locals finally head outside once it's cooler and the rain stops. Sidewalks and intersections turn into pop-up restaurants. Whoa! There's a huge dog in a cage. It doesn't seem right to keep a dog in a cage in this heat. Poor thing. It's animal cruelty. It looks like a scene from Antarctica, with penguins and seals crowding together. Maybe they're just waiting for a table. But a waiter's approaching them, so maybe they're eating here. Here's some trendy street food. A guy is grilling squid with a gas torch. Dried squid roasted over an open flame. People are sitting, drinking, eating. This is interesting. A trendy bar that's so full, there's no room inside. So what do? They set up tiny plastic stools on the sidewalk. People fill the entire sidewalk, like penguins, sipping cocktails. Are you waiting for a table or staying here? We're staying here, bro. So can we grab a drink and sit here too? Yeah, bro. Alright, cool. At first, I thought they were waiting in line for something. But no, this is just their version of a summer terrace. A sea of little chairs. The whole sidewalk packed with people. Amazing. Foot massage. A decent one. No shady business. An hour-long foot massage costs 180,000 dong. A body massage is 250,000 dong. I watch your videos. Oh, thanks. Where are you from? Egypt. Egypt, wow. All your videos. Where in Egypt? Cairo. From Cairo? I was in Alexandria recently. Really? Yeah, why is it so dirty there? Total chaos. It smells like urine. Fountains full of horse manure. Trash everywhere. Everything's falling apart. That's just how things are there. I see. Do you work here? Yeah, I do. That's great. How's it going? Good, everything's great. That's great. Good. Nice to meet you. Good luck. Thanks, you too. Unexpected fans from Egypt. Who would have thought I'd meet them in Vietnam? Maybe I'll meet some fans in Hanoi too, but we'll see. One thing's for sure, I'm heading to Vietnam's capital next. In the next video, I'll show you how to survive the madness of Hanoi's traffic and deal with motorcyclists on the streets. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next video. Don't forget to like the video, leave your thoughts in the comments, share it on Reddit, and send the link to your friends on WhatsApp.